Hi again. So let's continue our jQuery discussion here. So, I've got an example here and we're going to build this, right? And, essentially it's just a page, and imagine like we could have some pictures and some other information here, and imagine these are showing, products in various categories, right? And so, I've got these links up here, and, this first row, everybody's in category 1. In the second row, everybody's in category 2, and the third row, everybody's in category 3. And, if I click on the link up here, if I click on category 2, then we only see the items that are in category 2. And when I click on category 3, everybody's category 3. And if I click all, then they're all category, all 3 categories. Or I can click this one and we get category 1. So, essentially what I've done is I've imagined that, here I just mocked it up, but imagine like, we're loading this data off the internet and we've got it all loaded. And, why load it again when we've already got it all? We can just hide and show the elements that we have, right? That's kind of, in a way, that's more efficient. It might be even better on mobile devices, because on a mobile device, if we make a call to load data on the internet, then we have to use your data on your phone, and that's can be slow or costly, right? So it's kind of better for us if we load all the data once up front, just to work with the data that we have, rather than loading it again and again and again, right? And it's really quick too, because you don't have to wait for it to load, right? Okay, so how are we going to get this to work? So I've got an empty page here. This was my last example. Now it's got nothing in it, right? Here's what I'm starting with. So I've got a basic document with the doc type and HTML head tag, and then the one thing I've added here is the link to jQuery. Okay, so I've got the link to jQuery on the CDN, and then I've got a spot here for some styles, and then I have the body tag. And then in the body tag, I have 2 areas. I have this UL for nav. I'll put my category links here. And then I have a div called content, and this is where I'm going to put all the products, okay? Or the little boxes, right? So we'll mock it up with, dummy data first. We'll just kind of mock it up, and then later we'll put some dynamic data in there. So, maybe in this UL right here, why don't we make a couple links? So I'll make an anchor tag, and I'll call this like category, 1, okay? And then I'll just, for speed here, I'll just copy that and paste it a couple times. And then maybe we'll make this last one say all, and this will be, category 3 and category 2. Okay, so we've got 4 links. And then we'll make some boxes or divs inside the content here to represent the categories. So we'll just make one div to start with, and I'll just put the category letter in there, and then we'll give this guy a class name. Okay, and I'm going to use 2 class names. So I want one class name to represent the category and one class name for all the items. Okay, so maybe I'll just make this, category 1 as the category specific class name, and then, product as the class name to represent, everybody. So I'll paste that a couple times. These guys will all be product, category A, and then let's paste it again, and we'll make this guy number 2, and those guys will all say B. You could put other content in here. They could all be different, right? And I'll paste that 3 times, and then I'll do another one. And I'll change the category and the content. Right, so there we go. So let's add a quick style here. So maybe we want to style all products, right? So, products can be, width of, I don't know, let's call it 33%, right? And then there'll be, you know, height of, you know, 100 pixels, right? And give them a background color of, I don't know, let's make it a light gray, right? And so that's all right. Not ideal, but yeah, we're kind of getting somewhere. Oh wait, they're not lining up, right? Let's fix that. So, you know, I've got these guys with the width, but I want them all to line up. So why don't we say float, you know, left. So that looks okay, but maybe I want to add a little margin between them, right? So, you know, just on the style front here, if I add margin, like let's say I add a margin of, you know, 0.5 em. So half an em. Essentially, I want an em between each one. So if they have a margin em, half an em on the left side of the first one and the right side of the other one, then, you know, then there'll be 1 em between them, right? So this is okay, but the problem here is as soon as I do this, then I only get 2 rows because there's not enough space over here, because now they're 33% of the entire width plus the 1 em worth of margin, right? So now there's not enough space, right? Because it's more than 100% width, right? Because it's 33, 33, 33 plus, you know, 3 ems, right? So let's fix that. So an easy way to fix that is to use calc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know, calc, this should be 33% of the width minus 1 em. Okay? So calc essentially lets you do a little bit of math in CSS, which is great. So I can say, like, we should be 33% of the width of our parent less 1 em. And since we've got a 0.5 em margin on all 4 sides, that means there's going to be 1 em total on the left and right. So if I subtract an em here and I add an em here, then we're going to be 33% again. Okay. There we go. So now I got 3 columns there, right? And that looks pretty good. And there's my A, B, and C categories, right? So what are we going to do now to display, you know, hide and show those categories, right? So over here, you know, I want to get the category name from the link. And, you know, we could put it in the href. You know, another way that we can work with it with these attributes is you can make your own custom attributes, and there's you know, I'm going to call this data category, right? So you can make your own attribute names, and the convention is that when you invent an attribute and add it yourself, you put data dash in front of the name. So it's kind of like we're adding our own custom data to this tag. So I'm going to add data category equals, and this first one's going to be cat1. It's going to match the class name here. And then maybe I'll copy this and make this one category 2. And then this one will be category 3. And then on the last one, we'll say, you know, data category all. How about that, right? Okay, so now we're all set. So let's go back down to our script tag here, and let's assign a script to all of the links in nav. So we'll use the same thing we used before. You know, nav lia, right? Click, and then we can do function. And just in case we need the event object, we can declare it here. So there we go, right? So we got a click action on all of our links. And so what do we want to do? Well, you know, when you click a link here, I want to get the category name from the data attribute, and then I want to show all the links with that category and hide all the other ones. Okay? So essentially, like I have this product name that can select all these guys, and this name that will select just groups of them. Okay? And you could arrange this anyway, but all we need is one way to select them all and one way to select particular, groupings of them. Okay? So why don't we do this? First of all, let's get the category. Right? So we'll say category equals this, so that's the link you clicked on, dot attribute, and then the value I want is now in data category, right? And so then what we'll do is we'll say, okay, how about dot product hide. So now we've hidden all of the boxes. And then we'll say, category dot show. Okay? So in this case, we should hide all of them first, and then right afterwards we'll show, only the ones in the selected category. And in the case of the all button, all doesn't match any of these guys. So, it's not going to work, right? It's going to just hide them all. So let's do a special arrangement. Actually, you know what I thought of? Why don't we just do this? Why don't we just say product here? I was going to put an if statement in there and check for all, but then I thought, why don't we just put the product name there? And then we can just show product, right? So now we got to do one more thing. This category name, since it's a class name, it needs to have the dot in front of it. And I didn't include the dot here because it would look a little weird. So we'll have to, when we make the selection here, we'll have to include it. So let's, put the quotation marks there, put the dot in there, and then we'll combine it with the variable value, and that'll make a class name. Okay? So we'll save that, and then refresh this here. And then I'll click on category 3. Oh, category 1. Right? So notice it's hiding the category and then showing immediately afterwards. Here's what's happening. When we click on this, it's refreshing the page. So we see the JavaScript happen immediately, but then right afterwards, the page refreshes. And that's because the links that we're using here have the empty href, and so that just, it doesn't say what we're loading, so it loads the page. If we put a hash mark in there, with the ID name, it will load an element on this page, and that would work for us. Another thing we can do is prevent the default behavior of the link. Why don't we do that? So let's say event prevent default. Okay, so this is a really useful thing, right? So we'll say event prevent default. I'll save that, and then we'll refresh the page again. So I'll click category 3, and this time now we see all the C categories, right? And then if I click 2, we get all the B categories, and if I click all, we get everybody. Okay, so there's a quick example of showing and hiding whole groups of things using jQuery hide and show. Okay.